Hey everyone, welcome to Firewall Analyzer free training part 2. Right. So before we start, a short introduction about myself. Hey everyone, I'm Vikram, subject matter expert in enterprise security management, and I'll be your presenter for today. All right. So before we start the session, let us look at what we are going to cover today. First, we'll look at why we need to monitor the logs and also why specifically Firewall Analyzer. Next, we'll look at some of the basics of Firewall Analyzer, such as the steps to fetch the firewall logs and an overview on the reports that are generated. And later, we'll look at the report overview, and we'll also dive deep into the use cases on how to look at the various reports that are available in firewall, which includes the VPN reports, traffic reports, security reports, and also custom and search reports. Finally, we're going to be winding up this session by discussing about the alarm notification features of Firewall Analyzer and how to set alarms for various triggers. Right, so let us address the pertinent question in hand. Why log monitoring and why specifically Firewall Analyzer? The network and network security landscape is rapidly changing, and to stay ahead of this change, security admins are working around the clock to install new security devices like your IDS, IPS, proxies, and VPN over and above the existing firewall. However, this hasn't deterred the cyber criminals, and they're only finding new and efficient ways to get into your network every day. So this raises a serious question. Does merely adding multiple network security tools simply protect a network from security breaches? Evidently not. So you need a tool which monitors all your network security devices and periodically identifies the internal and external threats on a real-time basis. Introducing Firewall Analyzer, a log, policy, and configuration monitoring tool. And it helps predominantly in log analysis, which it helps to generate in-depth log reports, using which you can keep track of security and traffic logs. It helps in managing your alarms, that is, notifying you about the security and bandwidth anomalies in real time. And it contains detailed inventory report about each and every individual firewall device that is added to your Firewall Analyzer and contains its performance metrics. And it also has rule management, which is managing and optimizing your firewall rules using its intelligent suggestion options. And then you have configuration monitoring and backup. So this helps you to identify and track any changes that are made to your configuration files, and also to take a backup of your configuration, which can be restored in case of an emergency. And finally, it also contains the compliance management feature, which helps you to identify firewall misconfigurations with its out-of-the-box compliance reports. So in today's session, we are going to be looking at the log analysis, alarm management, and finally the inventory reports in detail. In the session that we had last week, we covered the rule management, compliance, configuration monitoring and backup, and also the compliance management in detail. And in case you have missed the previous session, do not worry. I'll be sending you a link to view the recording of the previous session as well. So let us look at some of the basic installation and configuration requirements to fetch the firewall logs into Firewall Analyzer. So the first step would be to install the Firewall Analyzer software, and the installation requirements, you can view them online, which is available on our website. Or in case you want me to share that with you, please let me know by commenting in the chat panel, and we'll share this information with you immediately. And throughout this session, in case you have any questions, please feel free to raise them through the chat panel. We have a team of technical experts who are waiting to answer any questions you have regarding firewall's features. All right. So once you install the software, the next thing you have to do would be to set up your firewall logs. So for this, you need to configure your firewall device to send the syslogs via the UDP port 1514. And this is the default listening port of Firewall Analyzer. And in case this port is not free, an alternate free port needs to be selected. And once Firewall Analyzer is installed, Firewall Analyzer must be directed to receive the syslogs from this new port, since the default one is 1514. And next, so there are 3 ways to export the syslogs from your firewall device to Firewall Analyzer. And as mentioned before, the first way is to direct them to the default 1514 port. And the second way is to import the log files. And the third way would be to manually add the device without any syslogs. So these are the 3 steps that we covered in previous session. So again, you can look us up at the video that we'll be sharing on YouTube, or you can even go on to our online demo tool, fwanalyzer.demo, where you can view the live tool in working. Right. So once you've done with step 1 and 2, you go to step 3, which is once the syslogs are forwarded, Firewall Analyzer will start to generate various reports such as your security, VPN, and bandwidth reports using the data that we have received from the previous step. So not only that, you can also set various alarm notifications for various triggers and anomalies that is noticed in your network. All right, so Firewall Analyzer provides a wide range of reports. So all of these are available default out of the box. So the first report would be the VPN report, which gives you a detailed VPN analysis, which helps you to plan your VPN bandwidth and capacity. So then you have your firewall reports. So these are nothing but a combination of firewall security and traffic reports. And then you have the dashboard and inventory report. So these gives you a high-level overview of all the firewall devices that are added to Firewall Analyzer and their respective stats. And then you have the proxy reports. So this is nothing but the analyzed and generated reports of all of the Squid proxy servers that have been added to Firewall Analyzer. So then you have the custom reports. So in case you find that none of the previously available default reports are satisfying your requirements, so this feature allows you to customize your columns and rows and what are the metrics that you want to create a customized report, and you can have that scheduled to your email right away. And finally, we have the search report, so which is nothing but a feature that helps you to perform forensic log analysis using the raw search, aggregated search, and such stuff. So these are the set of reports that are available in Firewall Analyzer. Right. So since the pandemic in 2020, the work environment that we know no longer exists. And to cope, companies have moved from a full office work environment to a hybrid work landscape. So which is nothing but a combination of work from home and work from office. However, as a security admin, this poses a lot of security and bandwidth issues. In today's cases, wherever applicable, we will cover security and bandwidth management for your VPN infrastructure in detail. So to explain all of the features that are available in Firewall Analyzer, we'll take our imaginary admin, who's Jim, and we have discussed this in detail in the previous session. So Jim is a new security admin that is hired by a company which is facing a lot of network security pitfalls. So let us see how Jim's company that has adopted a hybrid work approach is navigating through the security and bandwidth issues that is faced by the company and how they overcome all of those by using Firewall Analyzer. Right. So most organizations are moving towards a work culture where employees have the freedom to work from anywhere they want. So it doesn't have to be home. They can work from remote destinations. They are allowed to travel. They work from destinations globe. Given that the situation, many organizations have implemented a dedicated virtual private network. However, this VPN connections that enable employees to work from remote locations can also lead to a security lapse if it is not properly monitored. So this makes VPN traffic monitoring one of the most important functions for network security administration. Firewall Analyzer generates in-depth VPN reports, which helps to identify and track the amount of traffic consumed by the VPN users and helps to identify the number of users connected, and it helps in entering the active VPN user sessions and also the bandwidth that have been subsequently come. And finally, it helps to track the VPN consumption and generate detailed consumption trends. So, all right, so let me take the product to show this to you in work. So to access our VPN reports, and we scroll down, select VPN report. Right. So for this, I'm going to choose all of my devices, and I'm going to have this data generated for the last 30 days. Right. So if you want to have data for any specific device, you can choose over here. Right. When you see here, you can see that multiple VPN reports available under the VPN reports. So these are to name some of them. This includes the active VPN users, VPN sessions. Here you have top users, and then you have VPN usage, and then you have VPN overview. This is where you get what are the devices that are connected to your VPN. You have VPN report that gives you detailed information about the user field to connect those information. And finally, you also have VPN trend reports. Right. So how do you use each of these reports? To demonstrate all of them, I'll be covering each of them with specific use cases. Right. So as a first task, Jim, who's been hired by the new company, asked to perform a general analysis of asking to identify users are currently logged into. So it's especially useful to check if the employees are logging into the server and also their activity status. Let us look at how this can be done using Firewall Analyzer. All right, so taking you back to the product. So Jim identified all the active users, and for that, under VPN reports, you have to choose the active VPN users. And here, of all the users who are currently active. And in addition, also get informations like the assigned IP, the start time, and also the device through which, the firewall device through which this particular VPN was accessed. So with this, Jim has clear understanding as to who has been logged in, who has been active, and you can also schedule, in case you need this to be sent to your upper management, you can schedule report by clicking on the schedule icon over here, and you can see, choose the firewall, all of the data, and here you can schedule which type of report do you want this to be in PDL or CSV, and you can get the frequency of the report. If you want it once, you can do it here, or if you want it hourly, monthly, you can do that over here as well. Right, so let me just simply put in a random date and hit next. And once you're done with that, you can choose whether to have this sent to you in the form of an email. And if you want to, you can enter the email address over here, select the subject, notes, and hit on save. So once you do this, this report will get created and you can expect this on your inbox at the mentioned interval. So going back to VPN reports, choosing on my device and having to view this for that's 30 days. All right. So now you have all of these data, and in case you want to download this for a single instance, simply select the preferred icon over here, and you can have this downloaded right away. So let me choose PDF here for your reference. Click export, and you have that information over here. So while that is loading, let me take you back to the webinar. All right. So going back to the deck. Okay. So now that the first use case is done, Jim has been assigned a second task. So which is nothing but the management wanting to know the complete VPN activity of all the employees. And this includes both the active and the passive session. So the management also wants this to be sent to them on a weekly basis. So let's see how Jim can achieve this using Firewall Analyzer. So again, taking you back to the product, and over here under VPN reports, you go on and select the VPN sessions icon. Right. So over here, what you see is slightly different from what we saw in the previous active VPN users option. So in active VPN users, you only get to see the ones who are currently active, that is the ones who are currently connected. But over here, you see the ones who have connected and disconnected in the past as well. So over here, you can see that this green option, the gray option, it denotes the ones that are inactive, meaning they have ended their session. So you get all of that information over here, and simply select view all. And if you scroll down, yeah, here you can see there are a couple of them whose icons are green, which means they are still connected. Their session is still ongoing. You can see that by the absence of the end time. So with this information, with this sessions VPN data, you can understand who is currently active and who has ended their session simply with the click of a button. And again, if you want to have this scheduled, let's say on a weekly basis, or if you want to have this sent to you or as a single email, simply select the respective icons over here. All you have to do is hover your mouse over them, and you'll get the detailed options. Right. So scheduling it on a weekly basis is similar to what I showed you previously. You simply have to choose the weekly option. Right. So moving on. So now that a majority of the employees are joining using the VPN network, it becomes extremely important to plan and allocate the bandwidth consumption. Say if a single employee is hogging all the bandwidth, this would slow down the network for every other employee who is connected and working. Hence, as a third task, Jim has been asked to identify more details on the VPN user activity and connection trend. And again, they want this to be scheduled on a say on a daily basis. So let us look at how Jim does this using Firewall Analyzer. Right, so taking you back to the product. So to view this information, again, under VPN reports, you have something called top users. All right. Right. So here you get a list of all the users and how many times they have connected and how much data they have consumed. And also the duration in which this particular data was consumed. So with this, Jim gets a clear understanding on the top users, how many times they have connected to the VPN, and the bandwidth that is consumed by them. So in case he wants to have this as a report, again, simply go and select the report option and click on it, select the export option, and you will get it in your inbox right away. So the email will be sent to your inbox, and in case you click on download, it will be sent to your downloads folder. Right. So moving on to the next use case, right? So if you look at it, Jim's fourth task is to identify the active VPN connection count for a specific firewall. So why does Jim's company need him to do this? Because most devices offer limited number of VPN connections, and the cost of operation goes higher as the number of connections go up. Hence, it is extremely critical to plan the VPN connection capacity on the dot. Purchasing excess capacity would result in excess IT spend, and purchasing lesser capacity would result in performance and productivity issues. Hence, Jim needs to monitor the connections for a specific firewall. So let us look at how Jim does this using Firewall Analyzer. So taking you back to the product. So to access these particular reports, you go to VPN reports, and under VPN reports, you go to VPN overview. Right. So select that. Right. So under overview, say for example, you have selected all devices, which means you'll get this data for all your devices. And in my case, I'm going to choose simply my Cisco ASA firewall. So here you get to understand the maximum number of sessions for this specific firewall. So we have around 4 people. So here you can see that the maximum number of active sessions for my Cisco firewall is currently 4. So let's say that you have planned only for a maximum connection of around 2. In that case, this becomes a huge problem, because at a single point of time, there are going to be around 5 people who are going to be active, and this will become an issue. And 4 people will be active, and this will become an issue. So with this report, you can understand clearly on what or how many connections you need to optimally have in your infrastructure to make sure that you have a seamless VPN experience. All right, so moving on. Right. So the next task that is allocated to Jim is to identify the failed VPN login attempts. In Jim's company, a lot of employees are complaining that they did not log in since they were unable to do so. And hence, Jim has been asked to proactively reach out and fix the failed logins. Since this will not only increase productivity, but also help in identifying multiple login attempts. Given that people are working from home, you don't know if your Wi-Fi is compromised or if someone is trying to enter into your network using the VPN as a loophole. So once again, with help of this information, you can understand how many times people have tried to log in, and in case you notice any extreme anomalies, you can contact them and make sure their issue is fixed. So let us look at how this can be done using Firewall Analyzer. All right, so taking you back to the product. So to access this report, you'll have to go to reports, VPN reports, and under there you go to VPN reports again. All right, so let me have this data for all of my devices. All right, so for this demonstration, I have actually simulated my data. So all of these data, the Cisco, the FortiGate devices comes from simulations. So I am currently having, it's still getting loaded. All right, so before that, let me tell you how this looks like. So here you can see a sample of this on the screenshot on the presentation over here. So this top failed VPN users is actually a pie chart that is denoted by the users versus the number of attempts that they have taken to log into the network. So in case you notice any abnormal number, say, let's say number one, this number Venkatesh is trying to log in around 300, 400 times, then you can reach out to them. You can call them, hey, what is the issue that you're facing, and rectify it so that there are no other users who are facing this issue. And you can also rectify if there are any security issues that has been bothering. Okay, it's been brought to my notice that I have found some audio issues. Is everyone able to hear me? If you are also experiencing audio issues, please let me know. Right, I hope we are still connected and the audio is fine now. All right, so let me proceed with the next PPT. All right. So now that a lot of employees are accessing the company's network via the VPN, for device and bandwidth allocation purposes, it becomes extremely important that Jim identifies the busiest hour and the leanest hour and plan the VPN infrastructure accordingly. So say, for example, there's going to be a product release, and let's say this product release happens every second week of the month. And so what eventually is going to happen to the VPN trend is that whenever this release is happening, a lot of people will log into the VPN. And given that you do not understand this trend, there is a very high chance that there will be issues at the customer end or at the employee end, resulting in an impact in productivity. So let us look at how Jim gets this trend reports using Firewall Analyzer. So again, for this, I'm taking you back to the product. And to view the trend reports, simply under VPN reports, you scroll down, and here you have something called VPN trend reports. So you click on it, and here you have the data populated for the last 24 hours, for the last 7 days, and also for the last 30 days and 1 year. So here you get the daily, weekly, monthly, and also yearly reports. And with this, you can clearly identify the trends in VPN requests. So say, for example, in the daily reports that you see over here, you can check what are the number of people that are logged in at the different time frames. So say at around 2 a.m. in the morning, we have around 6 people who are currently accessing the network via VPN, which is a peak value. And this number gradually goes down at around 6 p.m., which is when people normally log out for ending their day. So if you understand this trend, maybe on a monthly basis, you understand when people are spiking, you can VPN usage is spiking. You can plan your capacity accordingly so that no one has been forced out of their VPN network. All right, so moving on. So after the VPN reports, the next report that we're going to be looking at is Firewall Analyzer's security analytics and traffic reports. So broadly classified, these two are classified under the firewall reports. And the first report that we're going to look at in this slide especially is security reports. Right. So till date, employees have been protected by the office network when they are working from the office, and a combination of network security devices and strict compliance to various mandates has protected their laptops or their systems from external hackers. So even when a hacker tries to penetrate the network, the combination of the smart security monitoring and remediation by IT team has always protected the enterprise from attacks. However, with the adoption of hybrid work, that is work from anywhere, this is no longer the case. Hackers have quickly pounced on this, and they have capitalized this to understand that the remote employees are an easy target, and they can use them to eventually get their hands into enterprise security via enterprise security, and eventually they'll have all of your enterprise data. Hence, it is extremely crucial to closely monitor all of your security logs. To simplify this process, Firewall Analyzer provides a detailed security report of the attack reports and various virus reports, top security events and denied events, top spam generators, failed logon details. So let me take you to the product to show that to you in working. And again, to access your firewall reports, go to reports and you choose firewall reports. Right. So firewall reports is a combination of traffic as well as security reports. If you scroll down, you can find all of the security reports over here. Excuse me for that. Right. So here you have all of the security reports. And this includes security reports, virus reports, attack reports, spam reports, and you even have event trend reports. So with this, you get an understanding as to what are the security issues, or what are the specific destination or specific host who is having an issue. So with this, you can quickly identify who is mounting an attack and also get to understand all the in-depth information using the variety of security reports present over here. So let us look at use cases for security reports. So let's say that there have been a lot of attacks happening in Jim's company, and this is happening especially from certain protocols. So Jim's company want to know which protocol is primarily used by the hackers to attempt to get into the network. So let us look at how Jim identifies this by using Firewall Analyzer. So for this, taking you back to the product, and again under reports, under firewall reports, scroll down, you get to security reports, and over here you go to attack reports. Right, so let me generate this data for the past 30 days. Right, so the Jim's company wants to know what type of attack and what type of protocol is being used by the attackers. So for this, you have something called the top protocols used by the attackers. So here you can find that under attack reports. So if you scroll down, you can see the number of attempts and the protocol that has been used for this particular attack. So with this, you get a clear understanding as to what are the main protocols used by the attackers. And you can see multiple attacks that have been mounted by using ARP, some of them using the TCP, SNMP, etc. So to understand more, simply click on it. And here you'll get more information about the particular attack that is noticed by Firewall Analyzer. Right, so moving on. Now that we have covered the security reports, now we move on to traffic analytics. So under traffic analytics, we get detailed traffic usage patterns on the different protocols, applications, cloud services, internet and intranet. Apart from this, you also get a trend report on the various traffic and events. So let us look at it from the product UI. So going back to the product, and again under reports, under firewall reports, you simply have to scroll up to view all of the traffic related reports that we currently have. So here we have, to name a few, we have traffic reports, we have protocol usage reports, web report, mail report, FTP usage, and several others. We have internet and intranet reports. So all of that are the security reports that are available in Firewall Analyzer. So with these reports, Jim can easily identify if there are any issues with respect to traffic, or if there are any specific user who's hogging a lot of bandwidth. So to understand that, you simply have to scroll down over here, right? And here you can see the top hosts, which includes the sent plus received count. And you can see certain IP addresses, certain users have consumed more amount of data than the others. So with this information, you get clear definition into what is the consumption trend. So to understand more, again, simply click on it and you'll get all the data that is required. So moving on. Right. So next we're going to be looking at the dashboard and inventory reports of Firewall Analyzer. So dashboard is nothing but an aggregated report which provides the firewall overview report, which is nothing but a high-level overview of your firewall traffic statistics, security statistics, and system performance. And then you have live traffic, which gives you the live traffic data through individual firewall devices. And then you have VPN report, which provides active VPN user list, VPN usage details, etc. And then you have users, you have rules and cloud services. So this gives you an overview of all the rules in your firewall, number of users in your firewall, and also the cloud services that have been accessed by the users. Inventory report, on the other hand, is an individual device-based report, which gives you status on the devices, which is nothing but each firewall device that is configured in Firewall Analyzer, interfaces, all the interfaces that are connected to the configured firewall devices, and then users who have generated this traffic, and also user cloud services which are used by the users via the firewall devices added to Firewall Analyzer, and finally the rules that have been triggered in the firewall. So let me take you to the product to show this to you in working. So to view dashboards, you have to click on the dashboard option at the top left corner, and the overview can be split into two. So this is basically between firewall summary, which gives you a high level overview of all the traffic and security statistics like so. And secondly, the system performance. So this gives you an overview of the CPU utilization, memory utilization, disk space monitor, users per second DB count, and several others. And then you have live traffic. So here you get the live traffic data through individual firewalls. And all of these reports are customizable. You can expand them, minimize them, or you can even add your own widgets. So next is you have cloud control. And here you will get detailed information on the usage statistics for various cloud platforms, including file sharing, cloud services, business services, etc. Then you have VPN. So this provides the active VPN user list, top VPN traffic, etc. And you have the user list. It gives you all the users that are currently configured in Firewall Analyzer. So like that, we have several other features. And in case you're interested in checking them out, they are available on demo.fwanalyzer.com. So this is our online free demo tool. So you simply have to enter this into your browser and you'll be taken to our demo tool, and you just have to click on the admin or the user and view all of the features that we currently have on Firewall Analyzer. So all of these are simulated data, and using this tool, you can check out all the features that we have to offer. And once again, if you have any queries, you can always reach out to our team of panelists who are on standby, waiting to answer any questions that you may have on the product. And in case you want to check out the reports that I just showed you, they are available under reports, and you can check all of them out. And any questions you have, we are ready to answer them. All right, so moving on. So now that we have taken a look at the dashboard, now we're going to move on to inventory. So to access inventory, click on the inventory option, right? And over here, you can see the devices that are currently added to Firewall Analyzer. So to get detailed information on any of them, you'll simply have to select any specific device and have a glance. All right. So the inventory report in general contains information about the devices that are configured to Firewall Analyzer, the interfaces that are connected to the configured firewalls, and then you have users, and then you have cloud services, and then you finally have routes. These are self-explanatory. All of these are available. All right, so moving on. So in Jim's company, a lot of attacks have taken place on a single firewall. So Jim has been asked to investigate everything about the attacks that the particular firewall is facing. So let us look at how Jim identifies this using Firewall Analyzer. So going back to the product, and under inventory, you choose a specific firewall. So let us assume that this particular FortiGate 1 firewall is the one that is facing all of these issues. So you select that from your inventory, and over here, you can explore more and get detailed information about the live traffic statistics. And here you can check the bandwidth that has been consumed. You can view the top 10 hosts and destinations. And over here, you can see the sites that have been active. And here you can view the apps that have been used. You can view the usage trend of rules for this particular firewall. And you can also view the VPN related information. All right. So, and finally, you have the security information. So over here, you can see that you'll get a list of the top attacks, top denied hosts, top denied destinations, and also the top spam and denied user logons. Excuse me. Right. So with this information, excuse me again. Right. So with this information, Jim can understand where an attack has originated from, which specific device or which specific IP is having this issue. And Jim gets access to all of these informations using the reports that are available under inventory reports. Right, so moving on. So next, we're going to look at the auxiliary features of the other features of Firewall Analyzer, and this includes its ability to analyze the syslogs from Squid proxy servers and its capability to generate proxy-based reports. And these reports include URL reports, top talkers report, website details report, and also proxy usage report. So let us look at how these reports look in the product UI. Right, so taking you back to the product. So to access these reports, you go to reports, and over here you go on to proxy reports. All right, so here you have the proxy report that we have configured, readily available, generating all this data, and I'm going to have the data generated for the past 30 days. So post fetching the data, Firewall Analyzer will generate the reports for any Squid proxy server that you have fetched the logs for. And we have several other sub reports under Squid proxy reports. That includes your proxy usage reports, website details report, and also the top talkers report. So all of these are available. So let us quickly look at a use case for proxy reports. So let's say that Jim has been assigned a task to find if there have been any proxy virus attacks in the system. And if so, they want to find the source of these attacks. So let us look at how Jim identifies the proxy virus attacks using Firewall Analyzer. So going back to the product, and over here under reports, under proxy reports, you go to website details. So here. So you simply scroll down. Right. So here you have a separate report called the proxy virus report, which is over here. And in this proxy virus report, you get detailed information of all the proxy attacks that has happened. And you also get details as to which is the host, what is the count, and what is the hit percentage. You get all of that information over here. And once Jim sees this, he can block the host or quarantine the specific destination and make sure that such attacks don't happen in the future. Firewall Analyzer also presents Jim with the option to view country-wise traffic. And to view the country-wise traffic, simply go to country reports, which is present over here. And again, you choose the devices for which you want to have this data generated. Choose the time frame. All right. So here you can see in the past 30 days, we've been, for this particular Cisco ASA firewall, has been receiving traffic from these countries across the globe. And in case you want to change the view, that is also possible. Simply select the table view. You can have the tabular column data of the report that you just seen on the screen. So moving on. Right. So next we're going to be looking at custom reports. That is, if any of the predefined reports that we've seen until now doesn't fit your needs, then customized reports will help you to satisfy your requirements. And our admin Jim has been asked to identify which users have logged in via VPN, and they've also given specific conditions and specific filters that he need to apply to achieve these conditions. So which is nothing but the report that Jim is going to generate should exclude all of the C-level executives. That is, the top upper management should be excluded from this report. So let's see how Jim can generate this unique report by using Firewall Analyzer's custom report. So let me take you back to the product to show that to you in working. And to generate this unique report, you have to go to reports, go to custom reports, and click on create report profile. All right, so let's call this report, let's give this report a name. Let's call this VPN analysis report. All right. So once you've given the name, the next step you have to do is to select the devices that you want to include or exclude when you're generating this report. Do you want this report for all of your firewall devices or just one? You can do that. So here you can see I'm generating this data for the Cisco ASA firewall alone. And the next option here is the filter option. So you enable that, and over here it gives you the option to add any filters. So what is this filter? It has two options, that is include or exclude. As in, if you select the include filter, whatever criteria that you're mentioning here will be considered when this filter is applied to the list of firewalls, users, devices, destinations, etc. And the mentioned criteria will be included. And if you select the exclude criteria, whatever you mention here will be excluded. So let me give you an example. So let's say that I want to create an exclude filter for my C-level executives. So what I'm trying to essentially do is I'm going to add a set of IP addresses, and let's say I have a range, and I'm going to have this from this to, let's say, around 10, right? So I'm going to add these 10 IP addresses, this range of 10 IP addresses, and I'm going to ensure that this filter, when added, will exclude all of these C-level executives when I'm making my report. So I click on add. Like you can see that the filter that I've added has been selected over here. So in case if I want to add any predefined filters, I can do that by adding all of the filters over here. so that when I'm creating more custom reports in the future, these will be available so that you don't have to create them every time you go on to create a new custom report. All right, so once you're done with that, so now all of the IP addresses that I have mentioned in this filter will be excluded when I'm making my new report. Right, so the next option that I have is the ability to select a report. So what is this particular report about? So for me, I'm going to choose a VPN report because this report is all about the VPN data, and I want to exclude all of the C-level executives when I'm making this report. So I can select that from the predefined reports that are currently available. In case I want to make my own report, that is also possible. And to do that, simply click Add Report and give this report a name. So let's call this VPN report 2. And I can choose the protocol on which this is based on. I can choose the graph type. I can choose the XY axis. And I can choose the table setting. I can choose which ones to include, which ones to exclude. Once I'm done with that, I hit OK. And you can see that the new report I created has been added over here. So again, when you create more reports for one particular custom report, that is available for the next time when you're creating a new report as well. So if you want to schedule this, you can choose this option. You can enable or disable the schedule. Disable it, it's not available for you, so enable it. And here you can choose the server time, the email setup in case you want to have an email sent out to you. And once you're done with that, just simply hit save, and you can see a new custom report that is populated under the custom report. So here you can see our VPN analysis report present under custom. So that is how you create a new custom report. So moving on. So next we're going to look at some search reports. So search reports, we have two major types, which are aggregated search and also raw search. Aggregated search provides information based on specific criteria over a period of time. Raw search, on the other hand, provides forensic log analysis from multiple activities. So let us see use cases for both of these reports. So now first let us see a use case for aggregated search. So let's say that we have a single user who goes by the name Tom. He's been hogging all the bandwidth, and Jim, our security admin, has been asked to generate a report on exactly how much the particular user Tom is consuming and the various other details about this particular user. So let us look at how Jim identifies this using Firewall Analyzer. So taking you back to the product, to access this feature, simply go to search and choose the aggregated search. All right, so here let's say that particular user his name is Tom. I'm going to choose him, and I'm going to have this data generated for across all of my firewall devices. Let's do that, and when I click generate, I'll get something like this. Let me show you example. So yeah, so on the screen I have simulated an example. So you get data something like this, and under event report summary, you can view this particular user, the host information, the severity, the events, and the total bytes or the total data that he or she has consumed during this period of time. So with this, Jim can track a specific user using Firewall Analyzer and get all the data regarding the all the information regarding the data that he or she has consumed. Right. So next we're going to look at a use case for the raw search. So this, let's assume that there have been a lot of attacks on Jim's network. Then this is especially now since a lot of employees are not working from office, and this makes the network much more vulnerable to attacks. So for this purpose, Jim has been asked to identify all the virus attacks that are happening in the system. So let us look at how Jim can achieve this using Firewall Analyzer. So for this, under search, you go to raw search. And you go to raw search. And again, you choose the firewall devices for which you want this device for this data. And I'm going to choose only my virus or attack logs. And next, I'm going to choose my virus status. Virus isn't null. Right? I'm going to hit generate. So once you hit generate, you get a list of all the virus attacks that has happened in the network. And you also get a drill down of all the raw logs of the specific log that was responsible for this device. So after figuring out where the issue is, if you want to mine and check the issue, you can do that using raw search. And this is especially useful for forensic log analysis. Right. So moving on. So now we have come to the final section of this webinar, and this is nothing but alarm management. And let me tell you how to set alarms for various scenarios that might arise in your network security. So this feature is very useful to get notified of the security events in your real time. And to explain about this feature, it can be split into 3 types, and these 3 are normal, anomaly, and bandwidth alerts. So normal alerts are usually set when it is a real-time alert and that is happening and for a specific activity. And then you have anomaly alerts, so which is again usually nothing, but used only when you have to notify about an event over a period of time. And then you have bandwidth or threshold alerts. So this is nothing but an alert that when you want to get notified when you cross a specific bandwidth threshold, you set up this particular alert. All of these alarms can be seen in the alarm section in the product UI, and all of these alerts can be notified directly via email, phone, SMS, or even run a script. So in addition to that, we have several other options that can be configured on Firewall Analyzer, and I'll be running them through you during the course of the session. So before that, let me show you how the alarm section looks like. So here under alarms, all of the alarms that are triggered in Firewall Analyzer gets captured. So apart from this, in case you have configured any email or any phone number, you will get the alert directly sent to those devices as well. So before we proceed, let us quickly look at a use case for this feature. All right. So as I mentioned before, the company is following a hybrid work, and as a result, a significant portion of the employees are working away from office. So as a result, the network has become a little more vulnerable, and the company wants Jim, since the company has noticed that a lot of ARP attacks are happening, the company wants Jim to notify them in case of multiple ARP attacks happens in a short period of interval. So let's say that they want to be notified when around 5 ARP attacks happen within a period of 10 minutes of time. So let's look at how Jim can set this alarm using Firewall Analyzer. Taking you back to the product. So to create alarm profile, simply go to settings, go to others, and click on alarm profile. So since this is a specific alarm that we need to generate, we have to create a new alarm profile. Hit add. So let's give this alarm profile a name. Let's call this ARP attack. And this is going to be a normal profile type of alert. And I'm going to have this generated across all of my firewall devices. Right. So next I'm going to have a custom criteria, which is nothing but I'm going to choose my virus or attack. Yeah, virus or attack option contains. I'm going to make it ARP. All right. And then I'm going to set the threshold. This is going to be a critical priority, and I'm going to have this generated for every 5 events generated in a period of 10 minutes. And I'm going to assign this to the admin. So once that is done, I can choose if I want to apply this for a certain specific device or multiple devices. I can choose the very same option over here as well. So once that is done, you scroll down, and in case you are having a holiday, you can select this option to ignore all the alerts generated on this particular day. And once that is done, you can choose to have notifications. I have already configured a web alarm notification. This is nothing but a notification that I get over here. It gets triggered over here. And in case you have other templates as well, such as email, email-based SMS, chat, run program, and several others. So in case you're interested in either of those, you can hit up our panelists who are available to answer your questions. Or if you want to take a look at them yourself, you can do them in the demo.fwanalyzer.com, and you can view all of those. And if you have queries, you can always reach out to us. All right, so once you're done with this, you hit save, and you can see the ARP attack that I just created is active and has been successfully added to the list of alarms that I have. So moving on, this is the last use case for the day. And let's say that it has been brought to notice that a specific user has been clogging a major part of the bandwidth. And since VPN bandwidth is a limited metric, limited resource, since more number of employees are currently using it, Jim has been asked to raise an alarm or get a notification in case this particular user, let's say who goes by the name John, is consuming more than 1 GB of data in a span of 1 hour. Since this is an alert over a period of time, we are going to be looking at how to generate an anomaly alert. So let me take you to the product to show this to you in working. Again, to create a new alarm profile, simply click add and give this one a name. So let's call this, let's call this John alert, and I'm going to create an anomaly alert. Since it's an alert over a period of time, I'm going to have that for all of the firewall devices. And I'm going to scroll down, choose user is John, and application is VPN, since he's using VPN to access all of the to consume all of the set data. And you have other filters as well, and in case you want to configure them, you are feel free to do them. And once that is done, next you go over here and select in a period of 1 hour, total traffic of all exceeds 1 GB. Right, so once that is done, you can set the priority, assign owner who is going to get notified when this particular instance occurs. And you can check for 15-30 minutes. Every 30 minutes, the tool will check if the particular threshold is violated. And here you can choose the generated frequency on the first, second, or which occurrence you want this particular alert to be triggered. Again, you can ignore this one as set holiday. And when you're done with that, you can choose the notification option and hit save. Oh, my bad. I'm going to choose web alarm, right? All right, so once I'm done with that, you can see the new alert that I have just created has populated the list of alarm profiles that we currently have. So to summarize, Firewall Analyzer is a policy and configuration monitoring tool, and it helps you to identify the policy anomalies, unused rules and objects, and also helps you to perform in-depth impact analysis for new rules. And in addition to this, you also have Firewall Analyzer's help to optimize your firewall performance. It gives you compliance reports, which are available out of the box. So what I said until now has been covered in the previous session. And again, I'll be sending you a video so that you do not miss out on any of these. In today's session, we looked at how Firewall Analyzer's VPN reports help you to plan your VPN capacity and bandwidth. And then we looked at security analytics, which is nothing but your traffic and security reports, which helps you to identify threats and also in monitoring your traffic. And then we saw in detail on how to work on the search reports, which helps you to perform log analytics. And finally, to wind up, we looked at alarm, creating alarm and setting it up so that every time an anomaly or your alert is triggered, you get notified via email, SMS, or your preferred means. So finally, Firewall Analyzer supports all major firewall devices. And in case you want to know if your particular firewall device is supported, you can check that out on Google. Simply type Firewall Analyzer supported devices, and the first result will take you to this list where you can understand what are the devices that we currently support. Right, so if you would like to reach out to us, we are available on the email address and the phone number that is shared on the screen. And if you are interested to participate in our community discussions, we are active on pitstop.managing.com. So this is our very own portal, and we have a lot of interesting conversations going on between network security admins and our technicians. And if you would like to be a part of it, feel free to create an account over this free community discussion and participate. And we also have an exhaustive help document. And if you have any feature that you want to learn more about, I would recommend you to look up our help. Again, to reach our help, simply Google Firewall Analyzer space help, and you will arrive. The first result will take you directly to our help documentation. Right. So we are listed on Capterra, and in case you are an evaluator or a customer who's already using our tool, you can feel free to give us a review if you have any, or if you have any feedback, you can drop that out to us. And these are some of the reviews that we have received on Capterra. And to give you, to make sure your time is worthwhile, we give you a small gift for $25 for the time that you spend on giving us the review. Right. So we also have a couple of interesting VPN related collaterals that are available on our website, which is free of charge. Again, simply Google VPN management Firewall Analyzer, and you can arrive at this particular section and download all of these ebooks. And in case you want them sent to you via email, you can let me know in the chat panel and I'll have that to your inbox right away. And then we have one more news, which is our mobile application. So this is available on both Android and Apple Store, and this is available free of cost. The only requirement is that you have a live running Firewall Analyzer setup so that you can directly configure that on your mobile device and you can monitor your network security on the go. So we from managing take our customer security and customer data security as high priority, and we ensure that it stays protected at all costs. And with this, we arrive at the end of today's session. So in case you have any questions, please feel free to raise them. And if you would like to stay updated on what is happening across Firewall Analyzer, we are available on LinkedIn, Reddit, and on YouTube. So you can look us up and you can follow us in case we have any videos, helpful videos, or we have any product updates, we'll be sharing them on these social medias first.